Hey, and welcome to another episode of Up Close and Personal with Angela on behalf of Aspiring Authors Magazine. For those that do not know who I am Angela Thomas Smith, the founder of AALAC, which is the African American Author Literacy Awareness Campaign. I am also the CEO of Aspiring Authors Magazine, where my desire is to bridge the gap between brown authors all over this world and to touch on topics that's affecting our brown community that people don't want to talk about. So, over the last month, we have been sharing some amazing individuals that's doing amazing things within their community to impact their community. So tonight is nothing shy of that. We had the opportunity to go to Nigeria today, y'all. We went to Nigeria. So y'all know we always have bad connections, but I'm thankful for George and Claire. They pressed their way and we were able to share a little about them. So I want to encourage you guys to go over and check them out on Instagram and Facebook to find out just a little bit about what they're doing in their communities and how you can support them, even here from the U.S. in Nigeria. Okay, with that being said, I want you guys to take this opportunity to share this across your circle of influence. You never know who may need a nugget, and you never know what nugget is going to be dropped. So take this opportunity to share this while I bring up my very, very special guest. She's an author, she's a minister. So y'all know tonight is going to be jam packed with some information, something that can educate, empower, and encourage you to that next level. I promise you. So share this while I bring my guest up. Hello.
Hi, Queen. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. Been a blessed day. How about yourself?
It's been one of those days, but you know what? We don't know nothing but to press because you know what? It's
Yes.
bigger than me. It's bigger
Yeah,
than me in this
yes.
flesh. So
Yes.
I try to move my flesh on up out of the way.
That's
Um,
right.
So I'm here. Yet I press because I knew I had to come on at 6. So I'm here. And I'm here to help you
Praise God. Praise
share
God.
about who you are and what you're doing in your community. So tell us, you got two titles up there: minister, author. Which one you want to start with?
I think they're
Because we
gonna
want
put
to know everything. We
oh my
nosy.
God. Well, okay, they're gonna go hand in hand on some things, but I am Minister Arthur Sharon, Sharon Phillips. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, where I live in Texas now, praise God. And I just published my first book. It was released in June this year. I tell you, God has been so amazing, opening doors for me. And I always say, sometimes I just sit and I'm like, who would have ever thought that this girl would be where she is now? But God had already, He knew before we know what my life was gonna be. So he already knew. I just had to be obedient, and that's something we don't do coming up, being obedient. Because when he was calling me to the ministry, of course, I was running and doing. I was, I'm not ashamed. I'm transparent. I
You
tell it like
decadent
this.
having.
I wasn't trying to give up no club. I wasn't trying to give up no drinking. I was like, no. So I ran and I was on my second child out of wedlock, and I was like, God, you sure? You trying to call me to the ministry? All this stuff I've done and still doing. And so I ran for a good while before I actually really accepted my call. Because one thing I learned about God, even with the book, when he has an assignment for you to do and you running and doing all that, oh baby, he is going to, just like we do our children, he is going to whoop you. He is going to, you will not have rest until you accept the assignment that God is calling for you to do. And that's what Lord knows, that's what I had to do. And I'm thankful, because when I thought I was really out there living and doing it and just having the best life, I wasn't. I wasn't. I was just going through the motion. But I had went through some things, and I thought, hey, I'm free now. Let me try to get back some enjoyment that I lost doing, the things. I am with the author. I wrote my first book, as I said, Hello, my name is abuse. I lived it, I endured it, I survived it. And it didn't start with no bad relationship. Mine started at home. I when I grew up, y'all, I like I tell you, I'm transparent. I tell it like it is. Even when God was telling me to write this book, I written this book like some years ago and put it on the shelf. It was just collecting dust. And when God wanted me to tell my story, I was like, "But God, everybody don't know my story." And He was telling me that, and that's why it's time for you to tell it because somebody need to hear your story, and because somebody need help. And again, I ran with from there. But honey, one night I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned. I was like, honey, I jumped up out that bed. I said, okay. I pulled them papers off that shelf, and God connected me with the right publishing company. I was like, I mean, everything just fell in place. It just fell in place, and it was just meant for me to tell it because a lot of time people think when you go through abuse, it is starting with a bad relationship, but that's not how mine started. Mine started from childhood, and I used to think, and yes, I'm a firm believer of discipline because I'm old school, okay, but I used to think that I had the worst mama in the world, that she didn't love me, she didn't care, and it came to reality. She didn't actually love me. She didn't care about me. And after I didn't know at that time that that's what they was calling it abuse. I just thought I was just getting the worst end of the stick from my other siblings. They would get whoopings and I would get beatings. And yes, there is a difference between whooping and beatings. But I saw the difference. And it was like once that started at home, it was like a magnet stuck to my back or whatever, because that's all I attracted from my childhood up into my adulthood was abuse, because that's all I knew. I didn't know how to be loved. I never been loved. You tell me you love me, that's what I believe, because I never actually was loved. I never had you to put no one to put their arms around me or tell me it's gonna be all right and you doing good. I don't care what I did, how I did it. It I guess it wasn't never good enough. It wasn't never good enough. I never got, you had a good report card, and I never got that. My siblings did, and they was praised. I graduated as a junior, no children. That didn't matter. I was still talked about, and I was like, when I wrote this book, it helped me because I thought I had released all the anger and all the hatred I had for everybody that turned their backs on me. Uh, when I tell you that my character was destroyed, my name was destroyed, everything was just destroyed. I was the rebellious child. I was the disobedient child. I didn't want to do nothing. I even had people would tell they thought I was so wild. It was like you need to get a handle on your daughter. She gonna have a house full of babies, and she listened to everybody. And I was like, even when I graduated high school, the main people that was telling her to get a grip on me, they cheered. Got 3 and 4 cheered, and I'm graduating high school with none. And I couldn't understand, Queen, I just couldn't understand that for the life of me. I didn't know what was going on. Yes, I partied. I went to clubs. I couldn't wait till the weekend to get out that house.
Let me tell you, our story is something similar. It is truly something similar because I tell you, I lost my mom 12 days after my 16th birthday. So I had to go live with my aunt on
Mm-hmm.
my dad's side of the family. So it was just like I felt like I was treated totally different than
Right,
everybody. Like everything would be took out on me. And that's just how I felt. If it
right,
was not the case, whatever. But that's
right,
how I felt.
right.
And as soon as I got off to college, it just seemed like I just lost it. Like I was free. I was finally
Yes.
free. Like I just threw
Yes.
my hands up and just enjoyed life. I was off in a new atmosphere. I was around people, and I wasn't a bad looking girl. I was kind of fit because I played basketball. So people kind of knew who we were anyway because we were athletes. So I used to walk around like I was just so cute. And then we used to dress up. Our coach he made sure we dressed up when we went to games. He didn't play that not.
Right.
He made sure we was on point. Like so, we just had that little persona. So you couldn't tell us nothing. Like there was a time when I'm telling you, some of us experimented some things that we should.
Mhm.
Some of us gonna take
Mhm.
some of that
Mhm.
stuff to our graves. I'm
Right.
gonna tell you, I seen some stuff. I did some stuff. Some of
Right.
that stuff still ain't talked about yet.
Right.
I'm
Right.
tell you, we get to a point to where we do that, and I'm like you. I was telling somebody, and I might have said it on a live, but I was saying I'm trying to give it all. I'm trying to everything that God allowed me to do now because He's
Mhm.
giving me a second chance.
Mhm.
I'm trying to
Mhm.
do everything because I know that there are people that were looking up to me and people that I was assigned to even back then. Because like you, He called me at a young age, but I ran because I didn't
Yes.
want to stand in the pulpit. And that was
Yes.
me. I didn't want
Yes.
the titles. I didn't. Still to this
Yes.
day, I don't want the titles. But he said,
Right.
"You gonna share my word. You gonna share my goodness, regardless." And when he gave me AALAC in 2016, I used to tell people it was more than books, but I didn't understand it. And people they used to be looking at me like, "Why does she keep saying that?" But I kept telling them it's more than books. But I kept saying I don't understand what it is. At that time,
Right.
I didn't understand.
Right.
And when I tell you, God has done some amazing things through AALAC, like literally letters. Who would have thought that me, a little country girl from Levelland, South Carolina, a place that people had never heard of, one way in, one way out. Everybody on my street, either my first cousin or my second cousin. That's how
Mhm.
country is. But
Mhm.
would give me an opportunity to be on a network where over 10 million people tune in. My last show had 10,171,247 people
Nobody
tune
but
in.
God. Nobody but God.
And I'm like, I'm like, little old me,
Yes.
but I'm
Yes.
humble and I'm grateful for this opportunity because
Yes.
I messed up a lot along this way.
Mhm.
But it's his grace and his mercy that he extends
Woo,
to us,
Jesus. Yes. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
just so I
Yes,
don't want to take
ma'am.
over because I
Yes,
will, and I will
ma'am,
start
honey. We
talking. But God
said
has
we
been
let the
good.
Holy Ghost have His way
He's
because
been
we
good.
know what we've come from. We know what we've been through, and it is our responsibility now to reach back and help our other queens that are going through. And one of my pet peeves, what I do not like, is for us to get so holy and so sanctified that we get amnesia
Hmm.
about what we done, and we sit back and we criticize these young other queens or
Oh
what, but
no.
you just a step away from being there yourself
Hmm.
instead of embracing, because I didn't have the embrace, and so I know how they feel. Why would I talk about a young lady that's been beaten? Why would I say, well, she needs to leave? That's easier said than done. You
Hmm.
don't know the situation. Then I can't stand when somebody, because when I wasn't telling my story and I was out and we was out and my friend was like, oh, she's stupid letting him beat him like that. I wouldn't took that. I wouldn't take that. I said, you don't know what she's going through. You don't know what she's been through.
Hmm.
It's more than, it takes more than you to just say, why don't you leave? A lot of us can't leave because we have abandonment issues. If
And
that's
people
your,
don't understand that
if people don't understand it,
until
they
they
don't
get in that
understand.
position. Because I'm telling you, I've been through domestic violence myself. Shot point blank range with a sawed off shotgun.
Ooh,
I I I've been always that person that said no, that would never be me. I mean, when I
mhm.
saw the burning bed, I said that would never
Yeah,
be me.
yeah, right,
That, and I'm talking about I saw that at a young
right, right,
teenage, and I
right.
said that would never be me. But you can never say what
Mm-mm,
would never be you because
mm-mm.
you don't know where, when, and how you gonna end up. I'm telling you, as I look back over my life, I had to ask that question: how did I get here? How did I
Yes.
allow myself
How
to
did I
get
allow that?
right
Yes.
here
I
in
asked
this
myself
place?
that question too.
And when I answered that question, I was able to walk away, because once I answered that question, how did I allow myself to get there? I woke up and I got out of it, because that's not what I want. I didn't have nobody to say, okay, Angela, pull yourself out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, everybody can tell you to get out, do this, do this, do that. But when you get out, where they at?
Right.
You have
Right.
to be ready and
Yes.
willing to get
Yes.
out.
And that was
And
my
you have to,
thing.
enough is enough.
Right. Because that was me. Everybody, like you, I use school as my escape. So I go off to college and, meet Mr. Wrong, as I put in my book.
Hmm.
But I thought I was in love, and was like, told him all about my miserable life, and that was
Biggest
my
mistake.
mistake. So he knew that I didn't have nobody. He knew
Mhm.
wasn't nobody gonna come to my rescue. And he knew I wasn't gonna go back there. So even with my neighbors then, because when I left Memphis the first time, I moved to Knoxville going to school. So, everybody was like, why don't you leave him? Why don't you leave? Well, I'm going.
Hmm.
They have destroyed my character at home. They have talked about me like the prodigal child or whatever. So where I'm going? Who gonna come to my rescue?
Hmm.
So I got to stay. He know I messed up and told him about my miserable life. So he know nobody cares about me back in Memphis. So where I'm going? So I
Hmm.
had to stay there and endure that.
Hmm.
And just as back then, of course, it was in my upbringing with my grandmother. Yeah, I knew about God, but back then, I wasn't, like I said, we were partying, drinking, and so I wasn't even talking to God like I was supposed to. But He was still, taking care of me, because even with me being jumped on, I was still. He kept me. I didn't see it and didn't know it then, but He was still keeping me
Hmm.
because I had some more to do for him. I didn't know it
Exactly.
then. And then even when I graduated, when I just realized that I was the black sheep of the family, that was like, okay, so I don't care what I do now, because it don't matter if I do good or bad, they're going to talk about me. So, hey, let me just go on out here and do what I want to do, because that's what they were saying anyway. I wasn't going to be nothing anyway. I wasn't gonna have nothing anyway, so it was already instilled in me. So, hey, what else I was gonna do? So yeah, I go out, fall in love. There here I am now in an abusive relationship, and have nobody to call to come to my rescue. Even when I was at home getting mistreated, people that I thought that I could call to get me out of there, they turned a deaf ear on me. I didn't want this the main sentence I would hear when I call. I don't want to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get involved. But then she had told everybody, don't listen to me. If she call you telling you this, that, don't listen to her. You know she ain't nothing but a troublemaker. She lied. So she had already destroyed me. So who gonna believe me? Who can I tell? So
Hmm.
yes, I had to go through that. And I didn't know it then, but I had to go through that so I can get this message out now to let my queens know that you don't have to stay in that situation. You don't even have to be ashamed, because I what gets me, people do, I don't have anything against that. When they do the little sister check on Facebook, let me know that you're here. No one is going to call you and tell you that they're getting jumped on, that they're getting beaten, that they're getting mistreated. Now, if I have a sister and I know she's a outgoing person and she loved to laugh and she loved to enjoy, then all of a sudden she get quiet and she don't want to do anything, or she don't want to, then I'm gonna start investigating and see what's going on. And I can do that now because I've been there and I know the signs per se.
Right.
I'm not gonna talk about no one. I'm not gonna downright, because I've been, even if I wonder, is I know that that's one of the reasons that we don't reach out, because we know people gonna talk about us. You're gonna make us feel worse than what we already feel. You're not gonna help me. You're gonna go somewhere else to somebody else and still destroy me worse than I'm already destroyed. So
Right.
now we looking at our queens and they don't have no hope. They just giving up. And that's my main thing when I talk and I go, my main thing I say is do not give up. And when it came to me to leave, when you said, like I said, I asked myself that question too. How did my life get so turned upside down that I had to sit here and this man beat me, but I knew I didn't have nowhere else to go. But I didn't get my wake up call until he beat me so bad that I ended up in the hospital. And that's when I started talking to God about my situation. And I was ready to get out of there. And of course, the routine. He was at the hospital
Mhm.
every day, apologize. Because at first he thought I was gonna press charges. Why would I press charges? And I knew I had to go back home to this man.
Hmm.
Where else I was going?
Right.
So, of course he in the hospital apologizing and it'll never happen again. It was I had to keep a communication with him. I had to go because when I got discharged from the hospital, I had to go somewhere. So I had to go back to him. So what else I was gonna do? Who else was gonna come to me? Nobody. So I look at all of that now. Everything happened. We used to say that growing up. We didn't understand it at the time. We just listened to everybody else. These cliches. Everything happened for a reason. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. To let my sisters know, hey, I'm not telling you nothing that I've read or I've heard about it. I'm telling you something that I've been through. Where
Experience.
my hair have been pulled out my scalp, where my eyes have been black and my nose been. I'm telling you what I've been through. Not that I know this girl that didn't know. I know this girl that has been through it, and by the grace of God that I came through. And I thank God for you because I didn't get shot, but God bless you to come through. And now we got to tell somebody. We got to let them know.
Will not sit down on him. I told
Right.
him if he raised me up off my bed of affliction, I will share his goodness, and that's all I've been doing. Can't
Yes.
nobody shut me up. I
Yes.
don't. I don't have to have no office. I don't have to have no special title. I don't have to have nothing. All I
Right.
got to do is share my experiences of how he rose me up off my bed. Because I know when I woke up out from being under that my dad was sitting over, God rest his soul. My dad was sitting over to the left of me talking to the doctors, and I know I heard them. That man said, "If I walk, it may be years." And I was
Mm.
wiggling my toes because I thought something was wrong with me. And I was wiggling my toes. I said, "I can move my toes," and that's what I was saying to myself.
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, why they not over here talking to me?" But I didn't say nothing. I was just sitting out. I didn't even try to talk. I said, "Well, okay." Then the physical therapy people came in my room. They had orders to go across the hall, but they came in my room by mistake, and they had a little walker, and I had this little thing on, and they hooked it up to the walker, and next thing you know, I was walking down the hall. 3 days later, I walked out the hospital. So, I know the God that I serve, and I will not sit
Yes.
down on him. I don't care what
Yes.
nobody say. I truly believe in Genesis 2:7. He said he breathed a breath of life in us. And if he
Yes.
breathed a breath of life into me, that means a part of him is on the inside of me. And all them years I've been sitting down on him, all
Mm.
them years when I supposed to
Not
been
no
sharing
more.
his goodness, all them years that I ran, all those years that I was
Yes.
disobedient, all those
Yes.
years that I just messed up. I'm
Yes.
here now.
Right.
I'm a willing vessel. Use me, Lord.
Yes.
He said if I just open my mouth, he would speak.
Yes.
And he
Yes.
said, if I just be willing to go, he said he would send me if I go. And send me, Lord, I go.
Ooh, if I like the songwriter said, if I have to go by myself,
By myself, I'll go.
and like you said, that's one of my favorite song by the Lambs Singers. I want to be used by God. Just use me because you have brought me a lot of my. I suffer with heart. I've had 3 congestive heart failure stuff, and a lot of my illness came from being abused, not taking care of, not being going to the doctor, taking care of myself. I share this. I can share this now. A lot of people don't even know this, even in the midst of me being. If I, if people notice me, if we talking, I'm looking straight at you because one ear got damaged when I was in an abusive relationship. I'm not deaf, but one ear got damaged. So I'm looking straight at you and I'm reading your lips, but I'm hearing what you're saying. If I'm turning away from you, I always joke it. I would say, "What you say? What did you say?" I want to make sure I heard you. I play it off like that. But it is because sometimes I can't hear you because one of my ears got damaged doing an abuse relationship. But God is still blessing me and He's still using me because we can cover up, we can fix some stuff that, like I said, nobody. I hold my head a certain way. They'll know it now
Yes,
because I'm transparent, because I'm telling you,
that's
it
it.
don't bother me. But I never did tell no. I hold my head a certain way so I can hear you. Like I said, I'm watching you. I'm reading your lips. So, but the
Right.
God I serve, He's still a good God. I didn't. I thought, oh my God, I thought for a long time when I was in a relationship that God had forgot about me. Oh my
Mm-mm.
God! Even with me, when I decided I want to come out of there. Even with me praying, I just really thought that He had forgot about me, but
Mm-mm.
He didn't. He didn't. And when He made that way for me to come out of there, I came on that. I came. No looking back. And see, one thing about it, He never would believe. He never would have thought that I went back to Memphis. But I went back to Memphis. I don't care about how. I don't care how much they talked about me, how much they destroyed my. I went back to Memphis because I knew He wouldn't look for me there.
Wow.
So, but yes, so God, I said, well,
Wow.
I'm just going there so I can get back on my feet and get myself together and there. But abuse is not, it's not pretty, and it's not always physical.
It's not
It's verbal, mental.
mental,
I went through it all: verbal, mental, emotional,
psychological,
psychology. Yes, I mean,
monetary,
yes,
financial,
and
even spiritual.
even spiritual. Right,
I mean,
right.
I've seen and heard so many stories around domestic violence. It's just like when we get off tonight after I finish this next interview, I'm talking with a lady. She's going through a custody battle right now, and they making the the child that don't want to see the dad, and he don't want, and it's causing that baby trauma, and they don't
Yes,
understand that.
they don't
They
understand
don't
that. Yes,
understand that. They do they care? They don't care. These people, and it's sad because it's affecting our brown community, and it's
yes,
just like they don't care because you don't see them dragging you don't see them dragging
right,
other races
right,
through the court system like that, and
right.
making them kids. They ask them kids, do you want to go, if they say no,
If
no,
they say no, that's
they
the end
don't
of it.
make
Right,
them, and that's
right,
sad that they
right,
doing our kids like that.
right. Oh my God, we can. Oh, I can only pray. We'll just pray for that situation
It's
because,
sad.
and like you said, that's
But yeah,
going to cause
um,
trauma on that child. Yes, yes,
exactly. Well, I definitely I thank you for being transparent and sharing your story. Um, do you have your book with you so you can show your book?
yes, girl, queen, you know it.
Yes, please show your book, and then we want to share your links how they can connect with you.
Okay, so yeah, again, I thank God for me. Good, can I get it right? I thank God for this, for me, this opportunity. The name of my book is Hello. My name is Abuse. I lived it. I endured it. I survived it. It's on Amazon, and you can also get it on Gum, which is gum.co/S Phillips. Again, this book was just written to encourage my sisters that's going through or you have been through, that you don't have to stay in this situation. You don't have to be shamed. I don't care. I tell people, I have said on one of my live, Queen, when I started going back to church, he used to make sure he jumped on me on Saturday nights, thinking that I wouldn't get up that Sunday morning and go to church because he don't black my eye, he don't pull my hair. Honey, that's been why I started buying wigs. Oh yes, I just put a scarf on my head because I was getting my life back together. So I tell people, get you a scripture, a song in your heart, and whatever, because I know you feel like that God is not listening to you, or He don't forget about you, because I felt like that too, but He haven't. And my thing again, I can't stress this enough. Don't give up. He is working out on your behalf, but you have to have a made up mind that you are ready to come out that situation, that you are ready to go, because it is a different life. God did not create us to be no man's or nobody's punching bag. They have that equipment in a sports store. We are not that equipped. We don't have everlast written on our face or anything. He did not create us for that. We are fearfully and wonderfully made by the Creator, and we are here for a reason, and not to be beaten on. And if it started in your home when you're a young child, of course, what you gonna think? What else you gonna think? That's all you know. If I'm not being beaten or cursed out, called out my name, I'm not being loved, because that's all we know. That's all I knew. If you weren't calling me something besides Sharon or Renee, you you didn't love me, because that's all I knew. Even as a child, that's all I knew. But I thank God for Him elevating me, for me being able to write this book, because like I first stated earlier, when I started on this book, I thought I had forgiven everybody that turned their back on me, that destroyed my character. But writing the book, the anger, the hurt, it came all back to me. And I had to ask God to just give me strength and to forgive me, forgive those people that did, and just let me release that so I can move on. I can't stand up in a women's conference and talk about how God delivered me from this abusive from childhood up, and I still hate the people that caused it to me. I couldn't do that. I can't do that. I won't do that. So God had to release me. I had to ask God to release that from me. So writing that book helped me, and I thank Him for that. And I just want my queens to know, you know, call, if you call 911, get out of there. Call the domestic hotline. You need the number, I give it to you. Let me get it. I got it written down, Queen. You know me. The domestic hotline number. Call it 1-800-799-7233. Call somebody. I know. Hey, if you say I don't have no family call, I'm with you there. I understand it. You ain't got to call your family members. God got somebody for you. Call me. I have women that inbox me on Facebook or email me because they don't want you don't want nobody seeing that they trying to communicate, because they still with their abuser. But I'm still praying for them, and they call me and they message me for prayer. I had one lady when she ordered my book. She said the title of my book, just the title of my book, caught her attention. And when she ordered the book and read it, she inboxed me. She said, "You must be my twin sister." She said, "Because I went through the same thing you went through." She said, "Thank you for being the mouthpiece that I'm afraid to be." I said, "That's what God got me here for. To let you know that you don't have to be afraid. Because when He deliver you from that, you got a story to tell. You're going to have to reach back and get some more queens and bring them out of it and let them know that they don't have to be ashamed. You can say whatever you said. You can say whatever you said about me now. It's okay, because I'm doing the work of the Lord. I'm doing what He has assigned me to do, and that's to go live. That's to speak. That's to tell women, yeah, hey, I went to church with shades on. Then I stopped going with shades on. I just went to church. You know why I had the shades on anyway. So why would I have it on? Yeah, I ended up fighting last night. Even growing up, when I became a teenager, going out on Saturday nights, coming back home Sunday morning, going to church, be so drunk. And, my mom used to say, don't go in there and go to bed, because you going to church drunk and out. You know me. I don't care. It ain't embarrassing me. Everybody know I'm drunk. Who cares? So yeah, it didn't bother, I don't get, drinking and smoking now, so I can't feel that. I don't care now. I don't care how much you slap me now. I don't care how much you hit me. I can't feel it because I'm full of something else now. But I thank God for giving me another chance. Even with the 3 congested heart failures that I was living for Him, then He's still giving me another chance and another opportunity to tell of His goodness and let somebody know. I don't even, I used to work 2 and 3 jobs, or I don't even work before. I work part time because I'm studying. I'm letting somebody know that God is in the blessing business. He ain't forgot about you.
Yeah, that's
He's working it out on your behalf, whether you know it or not. He's gonna bind the hands of the enemy, whether you know it or not. He's working on your escape, my queens, and I want you to know that. And I do have a conference coming up next year, and what better place would be? I'm taking it home. I'm going to Memphis with my women's conference for on abuse. I'm gonna have more information coming on to that. God had blessed is blessing me, and we had started, and I was just gonna do like a 1 day, but God put it on my heart to do a 2 day. So we working and we doing, but I have more information for that. I want to. I am gonna stay available, speaking engagements. Still going live, letting women, letting people know that God is able and He's willing to pull you out. It don't even have to be an abuse relationship, whatever. You just ask God. You make up your mind.
it.
You got to want it first. You got to want it and ask God to step in.
That's it.
Just be patient and wait on Him. Because baby, when God opened that door and you come up out of there, you just gonna soar high. I mean, I'm still on some things that God is putting in my way and having me to. I'm still in odds with it because I'm looking at. I still say the black sheep of the family, but I embrace that now. I'm proud to be the black sheep because somebody had to break generations curses somewhere.
That's it.
So if God chose me to be that person, and I just, some people, we have to let our light shine. I have to let my other sisters know I'm not too high and mighty, and I'm not gonna look at you different because I've been there, and I'm not gonna look at you different. I'm gonna help you.
Wow. I tell you, God is he funny. He real funny because last year he dropped 3 words in my spirit: learn, love, lead, and I didn't understand
Mm-hmm.
what those 3 words. I'm like, 3 words. Why these 3 words? And then it became so much bigger than the 3 words. It
Mm-hmm.
became so much bigger. It became a movement. He broke down each letter. He gave me learn, love, lead. And then for learn, he broke down the L, the E, the A, the R, the N. Everything had its own
Yeah,
meaning. The
yeah,
love, everything had its own meaning. And then there was 138 women. We came together and provided 365 affirmations from around the world. We had a lady from the Virgin Islands, Germany, of the 3 ladies from Africa. I mean, we all came together and shared affirmations, speaking into somebody's life, because we have to understand that there's power in our word, and it all
yes,
we can that totally can throw off the plan of God. But he said in Jeremiah 29:11, he said, I got a plan for you to
girl. Don't you
prosper you,
start, cause that's
for you
my
to be in
favorite
good health,
girl.
for you to have
Yes,
hope and
yes.
a future. When he dropped that in my spirit in 2012, did I know that I was going to go through domestic violence? Did I know that May of 2017, I was going to lose 6 family members, 3 of them to suicide, one of them 14 years old, the day before Mother's Day,
Mm,
decided that she was going to commit suicide? Did I know
mm.
that this would be my portion? Did I know that I would lose my father? Did I know that I would lose my brother? I didn't know that. And even up until 2 weeks ago, October the 11th, I lost my best friend, my first cousin, my brother. Like
Yes,
it
I saw
ripped
that.
a part of me out. But
Yes.
God dropped in my spirit that word pain. And when he dropped it in my spirit and he told me pain for purpose, not pain to purpose. He said, pain for purpose. Because it wasn't about me. It is about
Yes.
his purpose.
Yes.
And I had to move out the way. And I had to allow
Mm-hmm.
my cousin to rest because I was holding on to something that I couldn't bring back. His journey here was
Yes.
over. And I had to
Yes.
accept that.
Yes.
Hard as it was, I had to accept that.
Yes.
And that's what
Yes.
happened with us. That's what happened to us. We don't want to accept things. When God say, let it go and move on, we want to
Right.
hold grudges. We want to
Yes.
walk in unforgiveness. We want to walk in all this stuff that he don't told us to let it go.
Making yourself sick. Yes.
I'm talking about, and then you wonder why. You wonder why you can't heal.
Yes.
Hell, he dropped that word in my spirit. He broke it down. Heal. Heal. You can't heal because you're allowing hindrance,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
people, places, and things that don't even matter, that don't even have no part of the process in this plan I have for you. You're
Yes.
allowing them to stop you from operating in the spirit because
Yes.
you
Yes.
operating in the flesh. So move out of the way.
Move out the
But we
way.
don't want to do that because our ego is too big. Our ego don't took control when ego ain't got no place in this. If we stop thinking it's about us and start looking at those that are around us, because we get to a point in our life where we think we don't learn everything that it is to learn when that we ain't. You'll
Mhm.
never get to the place where you stop learning. You
That's
got to
right.
be
That's right.
teachable. But we don't want to be
Yes.
teachable because
We don't want to be too.
we
Woo.
get these positions, we get these that they go to ego, get the blowing up, we get the big
Mm-hmm.
head. And then here
Mm-hmm.
come the attitude. After that ego blow up, then here comes the attitude. I tell
Yes.
people all the time, if you want to have an attitude with me, have the attitude of love because
Right.
that's what covers a multitude of sin. That's what draws. That's what draws you. You wonder why you can't give up. You wonder why you fall 7 times and get right back up. You wonder why you can't wallow in pity because that's the wheel on the inside. They keep on turning. They keep on turning
Woo.
because he
Yes.
called you
Yes.
from your
Yes.
mother's
Because he
womb.
come.
He
Yes.
already had it destined, but you had to go
Yes.
through the process because you chose. Free will, he gave it to all of us.
That's
And when you
right. That's
chose
right.
to operate in the free will, you had to suffer the consequences.
That's the
So there's
same.
a process. There's
Mm-hmm.
a process. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care how old you was when you made your first free will choice. But when you made that choice, you had it that began the domino effect. So once you make that first free will, then it became good. It became something that you said, "Oh, I can do this. I can make my own choices. I can do this." And then you start getting
Yes.
out there. I know I did. I started going every time
Yes.
559 was open in Atlanta until it burnt down. I was there every weekend. I didn't care if I
Yes.
broke
Yes.
curfew or if I made it in time for curfew. I'm telling you, it's been times when I ran up and down the basketball court, drunk as I don't know what,
See?
throwing up, and my pole coach taught myself, "Ooh, she got a stomach virus." No, I got a hangover because I
Right.
done stayed out partying all night when we supposed to be
Yes.
in the dorm, supposed to be in the dorm sleep. But now
Yes.
every time I get down the court, I got to go over there and throw up and hit everybody, and then we got to get on the road and go to Savannah the next day. But here I am sick. And then here I am, got to stay in the bed all day, and I can't go enjoy the barbecue like
Right.
everybody else
Right.
because I got to recuperate because I know I got to go play because I'm on scholarship. I can't tell him I don't been out here partying all night.
Right.
Then
Right.
what? I can
Yep.
lose my scholarship. No, we couldn't do that. We did a lot.
No.
But I tell
Yes,
you, I
Lord.
thank God
Yes,
for
Lord. I
grace
thank you.
and
Woo,
mercy because
honey.
it was not for his mercy and his grace. Woo,
Yes.
we wouldn't be here today.
Yes.
We would not have these stories to tell. We
To
wouldn't
tell.
have
That's
these
right.
experiences to
Woo.
share with nobody else.
Honey.
So I tell you, I'm grateful. I
Yes.
thank him because
Yes,
he
ma'am.
could have took us in our mess. Because I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I used to be a store manager, and sometimes I used to have to go out and make deliveries. And I remember one night I was out making a delivery, and I had called these people before I went to their house, and then nobody come to the door. I'm thinking
Mm-mm.
I'm just gonna run back there and just come on back out, honey. By the time I went back there, and the spirit told me, the spirit nudged, said, "Get back in your car and leave." And by the time
Mhm.
I pulled out, there come 3 masked men all dressed
Mm.
in black from around the corner. Honey, they was finna rob me. And
Yes.
then I'm telling
Yes.
where I was in Atlanta. I was in Atlanta, living in Atlanta, down there by the Georgia Dome at the time, because I was going to Morris Brown. So
Woo.
just imagine the type of environment that I
Environment.
was in
Yes.
and people.
Yes.
And I tell you, 3 weeks later, one of my drivers got shot and he's paralyzed to this day.
See. Mm-hmm.
As I'm telling you, God been covering me for a long time,
Yes.
even in
Yes.
my mess, even in my
Yes.
disobedience. That's why I tell people I
Even in
serve him
my
like I do now.
disobedience. Yes.
That's why I serve him like I do now. When I lay down at nighttime, I want to be empty. I want to have done everything that I can do in this day to touch somebody's life. I want somebody to say, Angela, touch me today. Something I
Yes.
said or something I done. I
Right.
want somebody to be able to be touched by something I do. I want to be empty when I lay down because they give him
Mm.
an opportunity to fill me up
To fill
afresh
me up with your
for the
fresh.
next
Yes.
day
Thank you,
because
Lord.
he don't say he's going to extend his grace and his mercy. Woo!
Mhm.
I'm telling
Yes,
you, God is
I
so
thank
good.
him. I thank him. The job
Ah,
that I'm on now, I was talking to a young lady. We was in training, and we were just talking, and she bought a book. I bought, and I had a young lady at work when we was talking about it, and she was started crying. She's like, "Oh, Miss Sharon, I'm so sorry." So I said, it's not about that. It's not about that. I said it's about me to letting somebody know that they can overcome it.
yeah.
She told me, she said, Miss Sharon, she said, I've already had respect for you because how you do here. She said, but I got mad respect for you now because of what you went through and how you just encourage us and let us know. I said, that's what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. Just telling you about the goodness of Jesus. Because honey, if he can bring me, I've been in them little hole in the wall clubs with bullets flying over your head. And
Mm.
if he can bring me out, he'll bring you. He'll
He can
bring the
bring
next.
anybody out.
Yes. Yes. So
So I definitely, I thank you for sharing your story.
I thank you
I'm
for
telling you,
having me.
31
Oh
days is
God.
not enough. You know, people come on, they for 31 days we promote domestic violence, but this is something that's happening right now.
What's
Somebody
going
is being
on?
abused in some type of
Somebody
way,
is
whether
being,
it's
yes,
financial, emotionally, mentally, psychological. Somebody is being abused right
yes,
now, and we
yes.
only want to talk about it and bring awareness to it. 31 days out. We
31 days.
started a clubhouse. We're on every Wednesday night. Queen, chatting with the Queen. Um, at 8 p.m. We're on every Wednesday night. We just want to give people an opportunity to stop by and share. I don't care how you want to share because last week we was on for 2 hours because there was actually a young lady that's going through something and we were able to give her some advice
Mm,
and to share with her. When I
yes.
tell you we come from all different walks of life and it ain't about, it's about people being able to be free. There was a guy that came on and shared about what him and his wife right now is going through with the court system and how they're fighting this custody battle with the ex with his wife's ex-husband in a
Mm,
4-year old. You know, we deal with all people don't understand what people
yes.
are going through and who need who, and you don't know. I'm telling you, my I call her my adopted daughter, but she's on there and she shares her story openly because she wants to help youth. She wants to help the teenagers. She wants to help those adolescents, that 18 and 24-year olds, that the rise is rising. Domestic violence is rising. If you look at the increase that has
Ooh,
taken place
yes,
um
yes, yes.
18 to the adolescent age right there, the young adults. You got to think these kids go off to college. Some of them ain't never been loved at home, so the first
Right,
time somebody showed
right.
them some love, it can be all the wrong kind of love, but the first time somebody showed them some love, they just all the pieces,
Because
just
that's
all
what
the
they
pieces.
think it is. Because they don't know. That's just like with me. They don't know what true love is. So, like I said, first time somebody show you and put their arms around you, that's what they think it is.
But we open up that platform to individuals that want to come on and share. If you want to come on and share your testimony, if you want to come on and share resources, if you have resources, or if you know someone, whatever, however you can impact. This Wednesday, I'm gonna have our paralegal friend on. So if anybody, because the young lady last week she needed some legal advice, so I've asked our paralegal friend that shares free advice. If she would come on, she said that she was going to come on. So it's just an open forum for
Yeah.
people to be able to feel safe.
Yes,
And if we
yes,
can provide resources, or we can just provide our testimony to help you out. Because if you
yes,
look at
yes.
the panel, you have two guys on the panel. One have been on both sides of domestic violence. He's been the abuser, and then he's been abused.
Abuse.
So he has been on both ends of it. So he's there to share from both perspectives. And then you have a young lady that was acquitted of murder. She's on the platform. So you just gotta. And then me almost losing my leg and my life.
Yes, yes.
We just there to share.
That's
And
right.
of course,
Yes.
if you want to stop by, the platform is open for whoever wants to come on and share with us. We do not mind. So if you want to stop by and share with us any Wednesday night.
All
It
right.
don't have to be
Okay.
this Wednesday, but it's any Wednesday night. I would definitely share the clubhouse link with
Okay.
you, and
Okay.
you can
Yes. Yes.
stop in. You never know who may need
Right.
your testimony,
Right. I would
who may
love
need
to.
your voice, who may need your smile. You know what I'm saying? They may
Yes.
need to hear your smile in that room.
Yes.
So you never know. That's why I
That's
just
right.
love to connect with people. I don't know how we cross paths, but it's always anybody that crossed my path is always a divine connection. I keep telling them there's no coincidence. When God dropped you in my path, it is definitely ordained, because there's definitely work that has to be done
Oh yes. Oh
in the
yes.
domestic violence arena,
Oh
because
yes.
the 31 days is just not enough for the pact that it's having on our community. And I'm talking about the brown community, because that's
Yes.
one of those topics that people don't want to talk about. You
Right. Right.
in abuse period, people don't want to talk about it, because you got all types of abuse taking place. You
Yes.
got molestation, you got incest, you got all types of trauma that's taking place, and it all stem back to slavery. Now if they want to, it all stem back to slavery, and it just got kept getting passed
You're
down and
going.
passed down
That's
because
right. That's
nobody
right.
knew how to deal with it.
Yes.
A lot of the stuff that was forced onto us,
Yes.
but now we're breaking that. We're breaking it right here. It stops.
It
It
stops.
not go to another generation. It stops with us. We're
Yes.
taking a stand, and we will not be moved.
Yes.
And that's all we've been sharing across the platform. My big brother Frederick is on here. He's on. He jumped on. That's Frederick. He's over on Clubhouse with
Hey.
me.
Okay.
One of my sisters. I'm on. One of my sisters is on. I see she one of my founders for the organization that I'm in. A new organization. I am so proud to be a member of Ada Sigma Theta.
I
We are
saw that.
definitely a new
Yes.
organization. I am super, super excited to be a part of that, and I can't wait to just share. And enough about me, and I've been talking enough.
Ah,
How
thank
again?
God.
Before before we leave, I want you to share something inspirational. And then again, I want to make sure that people are able to connect with you. They can get your book on Amazon or
Amazon.
Gumco.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Calm.co, Sharon Phillips. Yes. S.
Okay.
Phillips.
And then they can follow you on Facebook, or they can email you at this email address.
Yes, that's correct. That's
Well,
correct.
I definitely want to thank you for stopping by this
I thank you
afternoon,
for
this
having me.
and sharing with me. I tell you, God is definitely amazing, and
Yes,
He
it
definitely
is.
makes no mistakes. So
No.
just trust the process. If
Yes.
we cross paths, is there's a reason why we're crossing paths,
Yes,
and
it
there's
is.
an impact. There's a definitely need for more advocates for domestic violence, mental health, period, because
Yes.
mental health and domestic violence go hand in
They
hand,
go
and there's
hand
no
in
way
hand.
can be
Yes.
separated. No way
Yes.
it can be separated. I'm an advocate for both. I am a suicide attempt survivor. I lost track
I
of how
am
many
too.
times I tried to attempt. So, I talk about it now because I
Yeah.
want people to not have to go down the roads.
Right.
Of
I
doing.
did that. I did that too. I did that too.
So I
Yes.
definitely applaud you and thank you for your transparency on tonight. Well, I want you to know that I love you and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Thank you,
You're more
Queen.
than
I love
welcome
you
to
too.
come back and share with us anytime. My doors are always open. Um, However I can support, know that AALAC and Aspiring Authors Magazine is here to support in whatever way we can. If I can't do it, I definitely can get you in touch with somebody that can. They don't call me the queen of collaborations for nothing. I tell you, when they spoke, whoever spoke that over my life some years ago, they spoke it, and God
They
has truly
spoke it.
been making
Yes.
me live up to that. He's definitely
Yes.
been making me
That's a
live up to that.
blessing.
So
That's a
I
blessing.
thank him. I thank whoever spoke that over my life. But thank you for stopping by, Queen, and sharing with us on today.
It's
You have
been
truly
a
blessed me.
pleasure. I mean, I thank you. I want to thank Billy Johnson, one of my sisters in Christ. She was on your platform, and then she recommended that I uh, get with you, and I want to thank her for that, for just mentioning me. You know, because people don't have to do anything for you, and
You're right.
I'm grateful. I'm thankful for that, and and I just thank everyone that has been a part of my life here. To my publisher, Reverend Rita Henderson, I thank her for. I tell you, she's the spiritual midwife. She helped me birth this book. I tell you, and when I say that God is just blessing, and I just want my sisters to stay focused. I want you to get your own personal relationship with God, because what I can tell you all day long what He done for me, and He can do it for you. But I want you to get your own personal relationship. You got to have your own personal relationship with Him, and trust Him. Trust Him, because He is not a man that will not lie. My God is awesome, and I'm trusting the process. When the time came for me, and He moved to Texas, I moved to Texas with nothing. Just might as well just say I brought a few clothes in myself and had a little few dollars in my pocket. But God been providing and taking care, blessing my needs ever since I've been here and doing what He said for me to do. And I thank Him. And
Amen.
I want my sisters to be blessed. I just want
Amen.
y'all to be blessed. And I thank God. God has bigger and greater things for us to do, and I'm glad He put us together to work together and
Amen.
to share of His goodness. And like I said, it all stops here.
It stops here.
We're not taking it anywhere else. It
We will
stops
not.
with us.
So I definitely want to thank you again for stopping by. And we're going to get out of here. I want
Yeah.
to thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Up Close and Personal with Angela. I tell you, I have truly enjoyed tonight. I hope you can
I have.
take away some nuggets and share with someone. If please share this in your circle of influence, if anything has stood out to you on tonight. And I definitely want you to go over and follow my sister. We've shared her links. So we definitely want you to go over and support. Like always, I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Stay tuned. I have another
Yes.
special lady coming up at 7 p.m. I got to jump over there really, really quick.
Yes.
So stay tuned, y'all. I'll be right back.
Bless you. Bye bye.